1995. He was.
Episode 233 of the Pour Horsemen podcast. Special episode for you today, but put the camera on me because y'all know we have a Patreon. And one of our patrons, which we really appreciate, she might have been our first patron.
Probably so. Really? She is. Matter
she might have been
no, she was.
She might have been our first patron.
Okay.
Miss Shirley wanted me to unveil a gift. Now I've already seen it. Okay. So I'm gonna pass it around.
Did you use it already?
Camera. I probably did use it. You know, of course not. All right. So
I hope it ain't condoms.
No, this is
left that in there.
She said that this is a new set piece, and congratulations to what we've been doing. So I'm gonna open it now, and I'm gonna just pass around. So nobody can see it yet on camera because we're gonna do this the official way. So pass that around.
That's live.
So Miss Shirley, we really appreciate
That's live.
You doing that for us because you definitely didn't have to. It showed up to my house and it said fragile. And I was like, what is this?
That's live.
And the fact that she took the time out of her day to do that for us is really special. So put the camera on, Casey. Show us show the people what we got, please. Turn that around. So we got a decanter.
Dope.
That is Pour Horsemen out. We got 4 glasses. So now we don't even have to double cup it no more.
Yeah.
We got our own glasses.
LP.
Got our name.
Got our name. Hey, man. Thank you, Miss Shirley.
So
who's taking the decanter home though?
We gonna leave it here. It's gonna be our set.
It's like the Stanley Cup or something.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a part.
This over right now.
Straight up.
Without even watching.
So shout out again.
Liquor going in it anyway.
Exactly. To Kevin Hart and the team, of course, for what they've been doing with Grand Cormino. And then at the same time, we can add this as a part of our set. So thank you, Shirley. We really appreciate it. Now they was slandering you. They were saying it was gonna be something nasty.
Yeah, some belts and chains in that motherfucker.
Miss Shirley, I ain't even watching this shit. I'm happy right now.
Man, you gonna be sick, folks. It's been through the post office and shit.
It's liquor.
Man, drink this shit.
All right, but we have a special guest today. Obviously, we're gonna kick it like we normally do, but we do have a special guest today. So, JC, please, do you mind introducing our guest today? And then, brother, your camera will be the one right in that middle above. He pointed at it now. We'll have you do your introduction also. But JC, please.
Hey, man. So y'all know I'm a fitness director, JF Houston, and we got 3 locations in Dallas. So this brother. I was notified by my sister Victoria that, hey, I want you to train my partner Justin. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I seen him around because I do training up in Dallas as well. I seen him around, but I didn't know him. But whatever, he got a package where he gets personal training, and he had a flex pass. So boom, we train, and he's pretty humble, and he don't really say much. I ain't we just train whatever, and then I think around the second session we started getting to know each other, talking a little bit.
So he's one of those people that you be talking about on the pod when you get information. He one of them.
Yeah.
he won a day.
He won a day because you don't know, but there'll be oftentimes that JC will be like, man, I just be talking to people.
I do be talking to people. In my line, bro. Like I just be telling me.
He'll be telling me about all the cases.
So when I be asking who are these niggas,
it's
him.
I ain't telling your business on this hoe. But anyway, but nah, we trained, bro, and we got to talking, and I didn't know this man was such a staple with the culture on the legal side.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. Like I didn't follow him. I didn't, what I'm saying? Whatever. I just treat people, how, they come in and the energy they give me, I give it right back. So we got to talking, and damn, I didn't know, he was really just in the culture as far as the legal side, as far as like, all this stuff we see with the cops and, black people getting killed.
Social activism.
Social activism, and he's a lawyer. He's actually in the courtroom, and he broke that down to me like, man, no, I'm actually active. I'm actually in the courtroom. I'm not just on Instagram talking about these cases. I'm not just on CNN talking about this stuff. I'm not just on Breakfast Club, whatever. Like I'm actually in the courtroom. I'm actually doing the work. I'm actually in the communities. So, and he's going back and forth, Dallas, Houston. He be in Atlanta. He be in New York. He be in, LA, whatever. But most importantly, man, like he, just comes to the gym and he supports the brand. He supports, you know what I'm saying, Black-owned businesses. So, yeah, with all that being said, man, Justin Moore, Esquire, you know, welcome to the show.
Man, you know, thanks for having me. You know what I'm saying? To your point, bro, I mean, I just show up and try to get my work in, man. And,
Yeah.
you know, we was talking about this off camera. You know, I don't think I'm distinguished. I think I play my role. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And the role I was bestowed is to be a custodian of the legal culture for our people. And that made me no better than nobody else. We all have a vocation. You got a vocation for keeping our people healthy. And I know y'all brothers, I don't know y'all too well, but I'm sure you guys are stepping into your roles the way you need to as well. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the Lord just blessed me to be in this position and
finance, kids,
Thug.
That's not true.
Look at how he's dressed right now. I mean,
well, you know,
but
he
yeah,
clearly needs legal assistance right now.
we all do community work, man. Like we all do community work.
well, yeah, I'll say this, you know, and I don't fly this flag often, but you know, I'm in Chicago a lot, and one of my clients that I'm really close with is Larry Hoover.
That's what's up. Which I've seen you talk about on your Instagram, etc.
Yeah.
So I was gonna get into that here in a little bit.
So you know, I mean, the thug label to me means something totally different.
Yeah.
And there's different aspects of it, right?
Tupac tried to tell
There's
us.
different degrees of it. And, you know, I've seen people cast Larry Hoover as the super thug, but I've also seen him as the super community organizer and community servant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know they give you that label with jest.
Yes.
But I've seen people use that label in a way to demean like people's good work in their communities. And you know, whatever you may be, it sounds like you're someone that is probably showing up for your community. And I appreciate you for that, brother. Most definitely. Not to get too serious. I know that was a joke.
No.
I know it was a joke.
Nah, that shit was deep.
I ain't trying to kill the joke.
Shit was deep. I ain't gonna lie
You
to
can kill it. Don't worry about that. So now tell the people where they can find you, the organizations that you're involved
Damn,
with.
is the interview over already? That's like the last question.
No, we like to do
like
it
to get
before and after, man.
because
Like,
we want to make sure that ahead of time we can have that up front.
Yeah.
And then we can go into some of the details.
I mean, I got a lot of projects I'm working on, but I'll give you the main places where you can find me. Instagram, Justin.A.Moore, Twitter _JA_Moore. I have a nonprofit called the Liberation Fund. So when you see these guys on TV representing folks that are being brutalized by the police, 10 times out of 10, they're getting a large percentage of the settlement money. What we do at the Liberation Fund is we represent these folks pro bono.
Man.
We don't get a percentage of their settlement money. It all goes to the families. So that's what we have there. So you can find me at theliberationfund.org. I'm working with the Marcus Garvey family. We created a leadership.
I just instantly thought of Dr. Umar.
Yeah, I just thought of Dr. Umar, man. That's why I'm
the
like,
fourth descendant of Marcus.
yeah. So it's
Well, Dr. Umar isn't really a descendant of Dr. Umar,
Oh.
but I'm actually working with Marcus Garvey's last remaining son, Dr. Julius Garvey.
Oh wow.
oh
Okay.
wow.
Okay.
He's 89 years old.
Wow.
We created a Leadership Development Institute. So that's the Garvey Leadership Development Institute.org.
Okay.
What else am I working on? I'm working on a lot of shit, man. If you go to my Instagram,
That's where you'll find it all.
you'll find it all.
Okay. Okay. So let's jump right into it then.
Phil, hold on. Phil may be right. This may have been a bad decision to drink out this hole. I feel like I'm about to start. You remember when Steve would drink the Stephon serum and start doing that shit? Miss Shirley, I probably should have watched this whole. I was so excited. I was so excited. It's too late now. I was so excited and touched by the gesture.
But I'm a thug.
This was,
we both said the same thing, though, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But I still drunk it. I'm
I
a grip.
still drink.
Yeah, that's your fault. All right.
You probably should just chug it and don't think about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna
Nah,
just
you gonna
keep
be fucked.
drinking.
Worry
this
about the
hoe,
outcomes
and
later.
if I start,
I'm gonna laugh. If you start doing that, we gotta stop the pod, go live. Make sure we go live on every platform.
Bro, is that Stephon or is that Dr. Clump?
Nigga like, Laura.
So let's kind of get
Gonna
to
turn into Buddy Love.
Buddy Love.
But Buddy Love was a wild boy.
Have you seen The Nutty Professor as an adult, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even
Oh,
funnier.
man.
See,
Classic.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah,
very
very
inappropriate.
It's inappropriate for a kid.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
watching that as a kid is crazy.
I don't know how people didn't
ran out
know
of
this.
gas.
I had posted it on Twitter because I had
Fresh
watched
pair of
it
drawers.
like a couple months ago. I had watched it on Twitter, and my wife didn't know that Eddie Murphy was acting like Richard Sherman. That's his name.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
I'm a pony.
Yeah. So she didn't know.
Genius.
I was like, you know, that's Eddie Murphy, right? She was like, no, it's not. So I posted it on Twitter. Everybody was like, what? I didn't, and that's crazy to me that nobody knew that.
That's crazy.
He was the dude upstairs too.
He was everybody.
He was
everybody.
Turn that stuff down.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
This nigga crazy, bro.
I didn't realize Dave Chappelle was the stand-up comic.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I did.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Reggie.
Oh, you didn't know that.
He said, you ain't in show business, man.
Hey, man, you ain't in show business, man.
Our next movie review is going to be Nutty Professor.
Nigga said she got a nails painted at Earlshine. Nigga said.
Where does the Nutty Professor land in the canon of Eddie Murphy movies for y'all?
So we
top
three.
We're gonna do that as a review. So we do.
So I'm ruining it. All
also.
right,
Well,
okay.
But you can come back.
Yeah,
like
for sure you can.
this it sounds like you interested in
Nigga
that.
said your mama so fat.
Because I have an opinion. I have an opinion where it falls in Eddie Murphy's movie. But I don't want to say it on this because it'll ruin our review.
With the
okay.
Stop! All right, we getting off track. So, Brother Justin, we need to know your. First off, did you play any like sports or anything? Because Justin walked in here at 6'10".
What my dad tell you today?
Yeah, he walked in here at 6'10".
He met my dad today.
Yeah, I played in high school and I played a little bit in college. Man.
Basketball,
football.
football. Okay,
Yeah, football. I played tight end.
Tight end. Okay.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
if you were to compare,
Nigga was Noah Fant. Noah Fant. They one of them tall tight ends.
Oh yeah.
So we do a thing right now. If you were playing in the NFL right now, who would your game be like? What tight end?
I wouldn't play in the NFL because I ain't trying to get CTE.
Fair.
But who do I like in the NFL? I like Kelsey. He might be the best tight end of all
Black
time.
History
right?
Month, bro.
He tough.
I mean, I'm just saying though.
Mac McClung, now Travis Kelce. We ain't got shit no
Mac
more.
McClung a beast.
He's light skinned.
Nah, Travis is cool.
Travis is nice.
Travis is light-skinned too.
Nice.
I mean, honestly though, bro, I stopped watching football, bro. I was a Cowboys fan for the longest.
Well, that tells you. Stop watching.
And you know, I've interacted with Kaepernick.
Yeah.
In regards to social justice activism, man. So yeah, I tried to
stay strong. Okay.
Well, no, I stopped watching, but you know, the Cowboys got good
I know that hurt.
for a little bit. So I got sucked back in. And then that Jerry Jones picture came out and that really just killed it for me. And I can't root for no other team.
Yeah.
I can't root for the Cowboys.
What part of Dallas you from?
Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff.
Yeah,
Okay, you from Oak Cliff. Okay. All right. So give us the origin. Like, what got you involved in the type of work you did? What made you go to Morehouse from Dallas? You know, how did that happen?
Man, this is a long story, but you guys invited me here to tell my story, so I'm gonna take my time to tell it. So in high school, man, I wasn't really considering going to college. I thought about playing sports in college. I got recruited Kansas to play football. You know, Kansas State was decent. Kansas was trash. But I wasn't really a football lover like that. I didn't love waking up and working out and playing it. So my heart wasn't in it. So I wasn't going to go to school and wake up at 5 a.m. every morning just to go to college. So, you know, my senior year, I wasn't really considering going to school. Obviously, my mother was, you know, dismayed by it. So she connected me with a cat from Morehouse who was actually in town, going to different schools and telling the students about the school and whatnot. So I went to an informational and met the dude, and he really sat me down and explained the school. And ultimately, some of my partners were there, and they decided to go. And I was like, "Well, shit, if they going,
Straight up,
I might as well just give it a shot." But this is why it's so important for young black males to be surrounded by a community of folks that have not only their best interests at heart, but also they're striving for better for themselves. It's like osmosis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna.
Unfortunately, we don't find that until late in life, or like going past your prime almost. So in a lot of cases,
I was lucky, bro, and I was lucky. My father didn't go to college. I mean, he pushed for it, but he didn't know what it was. You dig what I'm saying? And no disrespect to my father, because I love him. May he rest in peace. But he did what he could with what he had. Yeah. And he was very supportive of whatever we decided. So if we decided not to go to college, he would have been okay with it, just as long as we achieved whatever route we decided to take. But nevertheless, I followed my partners there, and I went to Morehouse without a plan. Really, it was really just to further my life and try to see if there were new goals for me to obtain. Once I got there, I kind of meandered a bit. I wasn't the best student.
I'm counting all the big words you used. You had 3.
My nigga said meandered.
Yeah.
I can spell it MEANDERED.
I kind of just didn't do it. I didn't do the right thing.
Yeah, we
know
got
what I
you.
mean? But,
That's just what we
you know, so it took me a few years, man. It took me a couple years to really get my footing. It was one semester in college. I was taking 19 hours. I withdrew from 18 of them.
Damn.
The last hour I had was swimming.
How you do that?
And I failed that.
Damn.
suck.
Was you like
You fit the stereotype.
Huh?
You fit the stereotype.
at the time?
Yeah, I
at
did.
the time he did. No, were
I
you
did.
like in an org or were you what
Nah, well, you know, so this is what it was, man. So
Yo, look.
because you know what I'm saying? Like were you
They had
like,
19
I wasn't.
and quit 18.
quitting 18 hours is wild.
So let me just give you the let me give
6 classes,
let me
huh?
let me give you the full clarity of the picture. So my first year I was a great student.
Okay.
Ended the year with a 3.8. More of my partners came the next year, including my little brother.
Oh, y'all started kicking it.
Oh yeah, we started kicking it, started party promoting, started, you know,
To Atlanta, huh?
in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Started involving ourselves in
I got
various
questions.
activities.
I'm gonna have questions about the other side.
Yeah, for
after
sure.
this.
For sure. So you know, when he got there, you know, he moved in with me and it was a party every night. We stopped going to class. Started engaging ourselves in you know, taking illicit drugs.
Okay.
So it was a party every day. And you know, that first semester was really hard for me, and I ended up withdrawing from every class and failing swimming. You know, and you know, that kind of happened for a couple of years, man. And over the course of those 2 years, and this is really monumental for me. I wouldn't even say monumental, but it was life-changing. I saw my brother being affected by that lifestyle, and he developed a mental illness. So I'm failing out of school, and he's developing a mental illness. He ended up being diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia. I believe that it was chemical induced. Probably it was chemical
Smoke some
induced.
K2 or some shit like that.
Ain't no telling. So once I saw him struggling that way, I kind of told myself, I was like, man, I need to get back on track because I don't know if that's my fate.
Yeah.
Because not only do you care about your loved one that's struggling, but you also start wondering, do I have that same type of gene within myself? If I smoke something tomorrow, am I going to, you know, is that switch going to flip and I'm going to be struggling just like him? So that's how I got back on track. And I'm giving you the short of it.
No doubt.
So I got back on track. I was able to graduate. So after that semester where I dropped all my classes and failed, my GPA dropped from a 3.8 to a 2.1. I brought it back up to a 3.0, graduated. You know, at the time when I graduated, I didn't know what I was going to do. The young lady I was dating at the time was in law school.
Did you like major in letters or something like that?
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
Yeah, philosophy.
So
Yeah, yeah.
So law makes sense then.
My question
Yeah.
though, before you go further, when you failed swimming, were you attending class or you just didn't attend class?
I didn't attend class. Bro.
Okay, I was about to
You
say.
said you
Yeah.
couldn't swim?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, damn.
Bro, you can't go swimming if you hung over every day either.
Straight
right?
up.
Doggy pedal to a seat.
You just gotta show up. You gotta show
Yeah.
up.
Show up.
That's-
That's why I thought that was important. If you was going and you failed,
Bro, I can swim like a fish.
goddamn.
But you know, I mean, so at the time, and you asked me if my major was letters or, you know, philosophy. Before that, my major was business.
Okay.
Like every other, you know,
Yep.
Morehouse
Yeah.
brother.
No, every other nigga, because I was
Yeah.
business too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. I couldn't pass business algebra though.
Bro, that shit.
It was hard as fuck. But
But it's not though.
It is.
it was.
Well, this is
Alright,
this is if Dexter's Laboratory was an oversized nigga, that's him.
Shit, can you write a good ass English paper though, nigga?
Without question.
Nah,
See,
he can do it.
now I can write a good. See,
Without question.
my college background is almost similar. When you said that, that's why I laughed because I
You can't swim?
no, I can doggy paddle my ass off. But when I had I was at UCO and I had like 18 hours and I ended up dropping like 12 and I failed a class, so I only ended up getting 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
it was like when you said that shit, it just like made me
Brought back trauma, dog.
brought
Hey,
back
man.
all that
Black
shit.
man
But
trauma.
when I got my master's, I graduated with 4.0.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you use illicit drugs too?
No. I ain't do that till like post
Yeah.
college.
Post college.
Well, you know, so the beautiful thing about this particular part of my journey, man, although I was dealing with, you know, my brother's struggles, we were 22 months apart and we were very much so attached to the hip. You know, if you fought me, you fought him type
Y'all
type
Irish
shit.
twins.
Yeah,
Close.
the Irish twins is
13
11 months. Yeah.
It's 13. Oh,
13
okay.
months. Yeah.
Man, I was having an argument with an old lady about Irish twins. She was saying, nah, that's when a nigga is having a kid outside of his other relationship.
Nah,
at the same
that's
time
your second
as
family.
his baby mama.
Yeah, that ain't it.
I was like, that ain't Irish twins. That's nigga twins.
Nigga
I got a partner.
That's twins.
That's twins.
I got a partner who got two sons. Like I think they like 6 months apart.
Can they hoop?
Nah, they young.
Oh well,
They
hopefully
young.
if they can.
My niece and nephew are like 9 days apart.
Oh, shit. So they twins.
I guess so. They like 9.
But
They tweaks, nigga. That's a week apart.
they tweets. But yeah, you know that journey was good because I remember I was on campus one day, and I would just go to campus just to hang out, talk shit about sports, smoke cigarettes. I mean, I was
Smoking cigarettes.
How old brother are you?
I was live, man. Huh?
That shit ain't live.
36. not live in a good way, but I was a live wire.
But
Niggas
36, some people was smoking Lucy's on
yeah,
campus in
nah,
Atlanta.
you had one behind your ear and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Atlanta,
Damn.
that was a thing, though. It really
What you was
was.
going through?
Yeah. I mean, you know,
Back then, that was a thing.
at the
for
time,
real.
BMF was heavy in
That's what I'm
Atlanta.
saying, that was a thing.
Yeah.
In
Jeezy
Atlanta,
was
it
everybody was trying to sell drugs.
Everybody
Yeah.
has Lucy's.
Even if you
How
didn't
old are
need
you?
to.
36.
36.
Oh,
That was a
okay.
thing back then, for sure.
But
Cigarettes.
yes, bro.
I don't
Damn,
smoke
you went to
anymore.
a BMF party.
Man, hell, I mean, BMF ran Atlanta.
I know.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
But they ran only like
Hey,
zone
no lie.
6.
No lie.
Hold on.
Go
man.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they ran Atlanta, but they ran the black.
You saw the
parts of Atlanta.
Tigers come out?
Atlanta is the black part of town. What you talking about?
No,
The whole
really,
city is
because they wasn't like they didn't
Not
have
Buckhead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
they hadn't got there yet.
Yeah.
This is just a sidebar because I'm still fixated on the cigarettes. I know it. I know he can attest. I remember I was in the middle of knocking down a young lady, and
She
no
smoked a
lie,
cigarette?
no lie, like we knocked over her purse. And cigarettes popped out. I got up and
Bro, you
left.
never smoked a cool or a Newport?
Bro, I ain't never smoked no
nah,
motherfucking
that
cigarette
shit,
ever. In my
I remember my
life.
first cigarette. I was at Morehouse in the quad. My knees buckled. Nigga, that shit was.
The only
That
time
shit hit me like
the
a
only
brick.
time I
nicotine,
ever
motherfucker.
Like, yeah, have you smoked one?
Nah, I don't
No,
fuck
the
with
only
it.
time I ever bought cigarettes, I bought a pack of cigarettes, and that was because it was Halloween, and I was Leonard Washington for Halloween. So that was the only time. I ain't never smoked the motherfuckers, but I just had a box, and I was Leonard Washington.
You was Leonard Washington?
I was Leonard Washington on Dave Chappelle. That was the only time.
That's funny as
That
fuck.
cigarette shit is
That's
wild.
some Martin Lawrence.
Go upstairs and watch
But
your
I think I painted the picture of like
Yeah.
what I was and
Yeah.
my pathos at the time. So I remember I was on the yard, and it was a black professor in the philosophy department. He would always show up with a bow tie and 3-piece suits.
Nigga was Lawrence Fishburne on High Alert.
Man, but Pete, I don't know if he was trying to. I don't know if he was trying to define, like, describe or design himself after that character. But he pulled me to the side and was like, "That's what he told me verbatim." He was like, "Man, what are you doing? You a drug dealer?" I laughed. I was like, "Nah, I ain't no drug dealer, man." He was like, "Man, all you do is come up to this bitch and never go to class. I see you outside of Jasmine's. Jasmine's was this coffee shop we had on the yard where everybody would go and post up outside just to talk shit." He was like, "All you do is come up here to Jasmine's. You never go to class. You need to come take my class, man, because just take my class. I see a lot of potential in you, but just come by my office and let's get you signed up for next semester." So I took his class. It was philosophy. It was African American philosophy 101. Took the class.
This is higher learning.
I mean, it sounds cliche though. It sounds cliche as fuck.
That
but
shit good.
I took his class and that shit it really just rocked my worldview. You know what I'm saying? To see a black man that was an intellectual, but that was still cool and smooth with it.
Yeah,
Not a nerd.
yeah.
We do it the best. Yeah. It ain't, yeah.
And that just immediately just rocked me in a way in which it made me wanted to change who the fuck I was. And that was my first semester of my junior year, man. So I ended up taking this class. I switched my major to philosophy.
Yeah.
I graduated.
Business admin, right?
I graduated in 2.5 years. I raised my GPA up to a 3.0.
To get in law school.
Well, I'm gonna get to the law school story. So I graduate which I remember when I was told I was graduating, I was just so shocked by that shit.
Me-
I was like,
me
damn,
too.
I'm graduating. It just seemed like a
He
feat
the
that
only
was
nigga that knew he was gonna graduate.
unimaginable.
Us three?
When I
Man.
found out I was graduating, I went to a Christian university in Oklahoma. That's how we met. Me and his brother was roommates. And when I found out I was graduating, like I broke down crying because I was like, I mean, I had did better.
Yeah.
When I was business admin, I was bullshit in class. I really didn't resonate with what they were talking about. Plus, they had me taking Christian classes. That was definitely messing up my GPA because our mom is a pastor,
Parents, like,
and so
they're ministers, yeah.
and so
okay.
so what they were teaching wasn't what I was brought up on, and I was like, yeah, this some
White
no
shit.
offense, but it's
Man,
some
y'all
white
mom,
people
I'll say
shit.
this, y'all mom's spirit is so like welcoming, man.
Yeah,
Like,
so
she was
I
just
was-
sitting there watching me struggle, and I felt encouraged to finish that shit I was doing because she was just looking at me with this loving look.
Like
eyes.
disappointing her is like a punishment in itself. You know what I'm saying? I ain't
Yeah.
gotta get talked to. But when I found out I was graduating, it like made sense because I had changed my master's to clinical mental health. So, like I was doing counseling and work and like finding that out, I was really into it. My GPA went from a shit was like a 2.0 to like a 3.0, and it was just in a year and a half. And so it just kind of goes with what you're talking about. That's why it's bringing all that shit up because like you kind of.
that shit's so real, bro. Because it's like hindsight isn't wisdom, but it's obviously 2020. You realize that some people treat college as a means to making money.
Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't have that luxury. We didn't have that luxury of going into college and saying, all right, we're going to use this shit to make a lot of money. We had to find ourselves through that process.
And I hooped.
Sure.
So
It was a true matriculation process.
yeah.
But we had peaks and valleys and bumps in the road. But ultimately, shit, we made it through and persevered, man. I knew a lot of cats, my brother included, who didn't make it out, man. And this shit is tragic. But we got to find a way to look at our lives and, our journey as a means of saying like, damn, college can be good for black men. I know a lot of niggas that say college ain't for everybody, but I do think it is for everybody. How we craft it in our community as a means towards success, like material success, that might not be for everybody, but for growth as a man,
Absolutely.
you can find that at college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But you can also find it outside of the college structure.
Yeah, you can too.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can definitely find it there also.
Right.
I think our community doesn't understand the reward system outside of the financial benefit you get from the job. So you go to college, they immediately think you need to be working when you get done, or you going to college to get this incredible job that I didn't have. Like a lot of our family, they worked factories, they worked, teaching jobs maybe where it wasn't like now where you had degrees and stuff. They were like admins or assistants, et cetera. So it made it to where college was the only way out. So that's a lot of stress on us also.
Nah, it
you know what I'm
is.
saying?
Yeah.
You go
I
to
was
school
stressed out.
thinking, I'm going to disappoint my family.
Man,
a lot of us
hey.
first generation students.
That's it, bro. Right there.
When I was going to college, my dad was in college at the same time.
Yeah.
Like my oldest brother was in college at the same time. So it's kind of like a weird thing that we have in our community where you don't really get a chance to grow up.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we'll get into, how everyone looks at a 10-year-old black kid as a man.
Yeah.
When you go to college, we still kids, man. We still figuring it out.
Bro,
I was
that's true,
18, fresh out the house in Oklahoma
With nothing.
with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Not
then,
knowing nothing
Not
about
knowing nothing about
Oklahoma.
I never. The only time
Never
I've been
been
to
though.
Oklahoma was the first time I went to Oklahoma was with my dad to go visit the school that I was going to.
yeah.
And that was the only time I've been to Oklahoma. Quite frankly, when I really think about it in retrospect, I didn't even know Oklahoma existed. Like, this is real shit. Like, I did not know.
You had the idea of it. But
Like, I knew Oklahoma University,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but I just didn't know. Like,
Only thing I knew about Oklahoma was the bars that the linebackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get to Oklahoma. I didn't know where Oklahoma was on the map. I didn't know nothing about Oklahoma. And so when I went there, and then I went to the school, the dude, showed me the whole rah-rah and all that shit, but I still had to make my test scores, which I didn't make until the middle of the season. But like, it was that freshman year alone, nigga. I was able to get on the team. I made the test scores. The very first game I was about to suit up for, I found out I was having a baby.
Oh shit!
And so that happened, and then
the same day as the game.
The very same day, like right before the game, an hour before the game,
man.
I got a text like, we need to
She
talk.
couldn't wait till after the game.
You know that Lil Wayne line, you don't want that late text, that late text, that shit.
Did she know? Wait, did she know you had a game though?
Did she? I don't know. Cause no, she didn't, because she
say.
didn't know I passed my test scores yet. Cause that's how we wasn't rocking like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just like we went on dates and it happened.
I feel you.
But that happened. My dad got in a bad car accident. Car rolled over, flipped over.
Oh shit!
I'm about to fly home. My mom gave me a ticket. The coach says if you leave, you redshirting. I'm like, nigga, my dad just got in a car accident. I'm going to see my dad.
Was Coach White?
Yes.
No offense.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The lights are bright.
Yes.
All I saw was melon.
But yeah,
black thereof.
That happened too. And so, like that first year, like people, I ain't really talk about it a lot. But that first year, I went through a lot of shit. I ain't had my first drink until my first year, and my first drink was some vodka straight out the bottle.
Oh man.
And like that's how it went. And so when people talk about college, like it's a real like that shit molded me. Like I never folded. Yeah. People could have felt like I could have folded and just like, man, fuck it.
Trial by fire, bro.
I'm gonna go to the army or some shit like that. But it didn't happen.
Trial by fire, bro.
So when I tell people, hey, if college is not for you, don't go. But if it is, go that route. Get through it, because if you don't finish it, I guarantee it's gonna be a regret down the road, or it's gonna be a financial something that you do down the road because you're gonna feel like you have to do it. Get that shit over with.
I'm gonna switch gears in your career. So when you graduate law school, what was your first?
No, wait. Let them get to what made them go to law school.
Yeah.
My bad.
We was about to jump into that. I know we going on. Yeah. So I didn't have any real designs of going to law school. But the young lady I was dating at the time, she was in law school already. And she highly suggested if I didn't do anything after graduating that was respectable, she was going to, dip on me. You dig what I'm saying? So,
Was she black?
Yeah, she's black. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I made the decision to go. Grades was high enough, and, I did pretty well. I took the LSAT for shits and giggles just to see if I could do well on it. And I did good enough to get into a law school. So I
studied?
I studied a little bit. Yeah, I didn't go as hard as the average person. I mean, I'm naturally a good test taker.
I get testing anxiety.
I know niggas. I'm not a good tester. I know
niggas
that don't study hard and can pass a test.
No, I study hard. Like I'm very articulate. Like I'm intellectual in some aspects. But when I get in front of a test, it's a wrap. Like, I don't know, everything I forget. Like, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So my teacher certification, I had to take that whole 4 times.
Yeah.
And I literally had to pass it in order to keep a job. And I passed it that time, and I got it by 5 points.
We know testing is a byproduct of white supremacy, right? So, and we ain't gonna go too deep.
No, we gonna get to that too. Don't worry, we gonna get to that too. I was waiting to jump into that.
The idea,
you have to take a test to vote.
The idea of saying that you need to take a test that's in a vacuum that judges how smart or how intellectual you are.
No
some bullshit
at all. Yeah,
it's bullshit. It doesn't incorporate other elements of what it means to be smart and intellectual. But I digress. So,
no, I don't. Get into them.
But yeah, let me finish. Let me run through the story.
Go.
So I ended up going to law school, and it was basically just to impress a girl. And I think at some point we've all done something.
That's
to
how
impress
I go.
a girl,
Facebook was created on that.
Yeah, so I went into law school. Went to SMU. Was trying to be a corporate lawyer.
Yeah.
But at the time, this is all running parallel as I'm achieving academic heights. My brother is declining mentally.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So the reason why I chose to go to SMU is because he had to move back home from Atlanta because he just couldn't handle that shit anymore.
Wow.
And we were just so tight. I wanted to make sure I was there for him, to assist my parents with him as well. So, I'm at SMU trying to be a corporate lawyer and shit. It's an extremely conservative university.
Yeah.
So I'm going from Morehouse to SMU.
Yeah.
Remember my first day at SMU, man, I sat next to this chick, man. I forget her name. She knows mine now.
Yeah.
But I sat next to her. She was sitting right here. It was like stadium seats. I sat next to her. She looked at me and scoffed like, and got up and scooted 2 seats down. That was my first experience at that motherfucker.
Was she white women?
She was white.
Yeah.
White. Might have been from Oklahoma.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, SMU is like
SMU is like
OU like that?
No, OU ain't nothing.
SMU is worse.
SMU is like
SMU
Texas
and
SMU is like rich racist.
SMU is like Texas A&M,
It's like
but
Texas A&M. And I went to graduate school at Texas A&M, and I went to University of Chicago. Texas A&M is the most racist place.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. I
so
went
you
to
get
a
it.
game at Texas A&M, and I was like, ew. I had to shower like.
So the thing about SMU is you got people from A&M going there for graduate school.
I already know. Yeah. SMU is it's a bubble.
Oh man.
And it's situated in a way
Highland Park's in
where
Highland Park. So you got
everybody there got resources.
So in my law school, we had a Jerry Jones family member, we had a Bush family member and shit.
Wow.
That's why they got the death penalty.
And if y'all don't know about Highland Park, like Highland Park is like our
It's River Oaks.
Yeah, our River Oaks. Yeah. But maybe more money.
Highland Park is in Chicago, right?
No, it's in Dallas.
Oh,
it's
It
right
might be
next.
more
It's right.
money.
Journey Fit Dallas is like right
yeah.
there.
Okay, got you.
I think Woodlands for us, man. If that's part of Houston.
Nah, it's like
That's River
Old
Oaks.
money,
I
though.
wanna say-
Woodland's more new money. This is old money.
Because
Oh,
Rice is in River Oaks, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna speed up the story a bit because I know I'm chewing up some time. But so that was my experience. That was my experience there, man. It was white folks not acknowledging the intellectualism that I actively cultivated at Morehouse after I almost failed out that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I was prideful about my shit. I was like, man, me being smart from an academic perspective was hard earned, nigga, because I almost failed out of fucking college. I developed a love for reading. I learned how to study and shit, and y'all come in here and y'all just diminishing me just because I'm black.
Yeah.
So I was highly resentful of that shit, but I also wasn't really tripping too much because I knew I was there just to get a degree. Yeah, there was other black folks there that was just highly like engaged and wanted to be accepted by white people. It was one cat, I ain't gonna say his name, but they had intramurals, and these white boys wanted me to be on the team for obvious reasons, football, and he was just dying to be on their team. And when he didn't get on the team, this motherfucker was so hurt because I just can't understand it. I go to their pub crawls and they didn't ask me to be on their intramural team.
Man, get your bitch.
I'm looking at this Negro like, dog, for real? You want my spot? Because I don't give a fuck.
Nigga can't run an X route.
Yeah.
You can't even run an X route. You can't even catch a cold, man.
Yeah.
But, but I'll say this, the dichotomy between the two schools from Morehouse to SMU gave me an understanding of how to distance myself from motherfuckers that wasn't for me.
Straight up.
And be comfortable in my own shit.
Like that.
So I ended up graduating that bitch. After graduation, I moved to New York. At this time, my brother's decline was becoming even more rapid. Right before I graduated, he got brutalized by the police. They kicked his teeth out of his mouth.
Oh, God damn.
They threw him in jail without bail, and he needed to go to a mental health ward.
The front teeth.
Yeah.
Oh
shit.
One of the hardest things I ever did was I went to go visit him in jail, and his shit was knocked out of his mouth.
Wow.
Bleeding still, no.
And he was kind of a heavy set guy. He lost a lot of weight. He wasn't getting his medication.
Damn, man.
I don't think he was eating the way he needed to. So,
OKC PD whooped my ass, but ain't knocked
Man.
my teeth out.
Bro,
I probably would be gone if they did that shit. Cause
you saw that Tyree Nichols shit?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the video of my brother getting his ass beat, but to get his teeth kicked out of his mouth, I'm sure they had to kick him hard as fuck.
Yeah.
For sure.
Damn, cuz.
So, I'm graduating law school all while he's in jail. And I'm just like, man, at this time, I just feel like I need to get the fuck out of Dallas. Because it started to feel like it was an anchor. And I don't know if you ever dealt with somebody that's really close to you that you love that's dealing with an intense mental health problem or illness, such as he was bipolar schizophrenic. After a while, you just say like, man, I gotta, especially at such a young age, I was 25. I can't just be his caretaker. I need to, I need to live my life. You know, so I got this degree that I spent a lot of money on. So I made the decision to move to New York. I moved to New York. Him and I had a falling out because, you know, if you ever dealt with somebody that's bipolar schizophrenic, they can't manage reality in a way that isn't aggressive sometimes. You know, there was some issues that he was having with my parents, and I had to intervene. And I'm not gonna go too deep into that. But after the last intervention, I had to dip because I felt like I was gonna kill him. So I moved to New York. You know, I thought it was greener pastures. I lined up some interviews. I had some offers from the NFL and not to play, but from their corporate office, some sports agencies. I thought I was about to do the New York thing. Did what I'm saying, and remember the night before my brother passed, I had the best night ever in New York, bro. It was everything that you would think of living in New York. You know, we doing private parties, we going to clubs, bottle service and shit. I woke up in just a random apartment in Harlem. I ain't gonna give too much details on that, but
He had the hose.
I remember waking up. I got on the L train to go back to Brooklyn. I remember getting off the train. My pops called me, and he was like, "Hey man, you know, I'm with your brother, and he seems to be doing okay today. You want to talk to him? He says you want to talk to him." I'm like, because him and I were on bad terms. I was like, yeah, I'll talk to him later, man. I was hungover and shit, and I really intended on talking to him later. I hadn't talked to him in like 3 months. I remember going back to where I was staying. I took a nap. And I remember waking up to a host of messages from my mother saying that he succumbed to suicide.
Damn.
So immediately I rushed back to Dallas, left New York in the rear view because I wanted to be there for my parents. And that kind of started my odyssey back in Texas, man. So there was a grieving process, and you know, y'all are brothers. So I mean, the unimaginable is losing your brother. But I can tell how much y'all care about each other.
Nigga, man, you about to try to make a nigga.
Yeah.
But this is all. But
take a shot, goddamn.
Yeah, but you know, so you know, it was tough grieving his loss, man. I developed the alcohol dependency. I wasn't leaving the house. You know, it was tough. But I remember I had a mentor. He was a federal judge. I don't know if you guys watched The Bachelorette.
We don't watch that shit. Bro.
Yeah, but the first Bachelorette, the first Black Bachelorette, Rachel Lindsay. So I grew up with her, and her dad was a federal judge. And I remember he called me. He wanted to take me out to lunch. I know it's random, but for your viewers,
the type of shit they're gonna know.
We gonna have some.
They're gonna know Rachel Lindsay. I kind of remember
you
that
watch
name.
Rachel Lindsay,
Bachelorette.
Well, Rachel.
I kind of remember that.
You worked on the Bachelorette?
Worked on that shit.
She's
I did the B-roll for her shit. Oh, but we'll talk about that later. So her dad called me and was like, "Man, I just want to take you out to lunch," because he knew I was struggling, man. And when he sat me down, I was like, "Man, you got this law degree and shit. I understand you're grieving, but you can't just throw your fucking career away. Let's get you back on track." And that was really the most monumental lunch meeting I've ever had in my life. Because he put it in perspective. He was like, the best way you can honor your brother is to not throw your life away. Because one thing my brother was supportive. Even when he was going through his shit. I remember when I was getting ready to graduate, he was like, "Man, we about to be rich, nigga. Like, you about to be a lawyer." And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna make that type of money, but I'm glad you really excited for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But I could just feel the excitement he had, because just how I was shocked that I graduated fucking college and law school, that nigga was even more shocked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you've had people intercede for you then at times where you probably didn't.
Oh, bro, it was
know you
God.
needed it.
It was a village. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the village that my parents put me in, they didn't know at the time, that village was really my lifeline in a lot of different situations that I felt like I might have sank.
Yeah. And growing up in Oak Cliff in the early 90s is not easy.
Yeah, no, I
It's
mean,
not.
growing up in any Black community in the 90s wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think this generation understand, because nobody walks to school anymore. Like, not like that, like how we did, ride their bikes and go outside and see shit. Like, especially growing up in the hood. Like, yeah, you playing basketball over here in the driveway, but there's some shit going on across the street. You hear them gunshots.
It's still.
It's still,
like that.
but it's just like in the 90s, it was kind of free for all.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
We was like, the 4th grade, because that's when the elementary school we went to moved to like right by our neighborhood. but we was walking home, and I was like, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
Walking like a mile and a half with my little brother.
Jesus.
And it's crazy to think about that now, because like even now I see my students like about to walk home, but it's like some apartments like right by our school. So they just going literally like right next door. We was walking all the way through the neighborhood, jumping fences. We was literally going through people's backyards to just jump the fence to get home.
Times are different.
Because we was trying to get to Dragon Ball Z on Tsunami.
I remember when I was 10, I was talking to my mother about this. So on every Thursday, my father and mother would pick us up from school and they would take us to Church's Chicken. It was 10, my brother might have been 8. I remember we were at Church's and we saw a cat get murdered. Like at Church's. I was talking to my mom about this shit the other day. I was like, Mom, you remember that shit?
He ate a biscuit, huh?
He was a crackhead, so he could have had a different type of biscuit.
Church's biscuits. And I don't even like Church's.
They are. Them hoes.
Church's biscuits
are hard. They're not good.
They were hard.
They're top tier biscuits,
bro. They were hard.
Popeye's biscuits
they were like a motherfucking brick. Like you throw a Church's.
If you let them sit, if they fresh, they good.
No, bro. Listen to what you just said. If you let them sit, nigga, it's bread, bro.
You get them fresh out the oven. They also
it's bread.
Best biscuits are Golden Corral biscuits.
Nigga, Golden Corral.
Yes, by far. Trust me.
They rolls.
I've been fat
Where
on
you
my
from?
life.
They rolls.
Where you from? Calling them biscuits. They roll.
That nigga from everywhere. He a military child.
So, but the
Golden
best,
Corral is some military brat shit.
Yeah, we used to go. That's what we used to do. Because my dad had to feed 4 of us. That's my size.
Y'all talked about me being the clumps, nigga. Y'all was the clumps.
For real.
Dog, just spit my drink out on myself, dog.
Let's get to some substance.
Hold on, man.
We got the story.
He spit his.
You just made me spit my drink out, dog.
Hey, it sounded good.
Hold on, man. I want to know how you got into the whole. You talk about your brother and everything that went on with him. What are you laughing? Cause
this nigga made me spit my drink out, dog. I'm gonna play it in that. I swear.
How did you get into the role of being a lawyer or a community advocate of everything that's going on now?
Yeah, I might have to help JC out.
So my life, the beauty of my life, what I think is beautiful. Everything connects. There's nothing that's random. You dig what I'm saying? I never just woke up and said I want to do this shit and try to do it. So when I sat with my mentor and he told me to get my life back on track, he said he wanted to plug me with, at the time, was probably the most progressive district attorney in the country. It was the first black DA in Dallas. And I was like, I don't really fuck with prosecutors, but you're right, I do need to, get a job. And what he was doing at the time, he was exonerating a ton of people from,
lower level
false convictions. So people convicted of murders that they didn't commit. It wasn't lower level, it was high level shit. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it for this guy. So he plugged me with that gig. I worked there for probably 8 months. My first day on the job, and this is the shit about DA's offices. And a lot of times you might hear about liberal or progressive DAs. You might get sold a fake bill of goods. This is probably the most liberal progressive DA at the time, but they still prosecuting people for bullshit. My first day, I get a case file on my desk. It was an older black gentleman. He might have had some mental health, problems. Reminded me of my brother. On his case file, he got beaten severely by the police for resisting arrest. So my first thing is, all right, well, he got arrested for resisting arrest. What was the underlying offense that he was getting arrested for?
Yeah,
what the fuck was he resisting?
Yeah.
They couldn't tell me. So I told his lawyer, I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna dismiss this shit. So my supervisor at the time was like, well, you new here. This your first day. You can't just be dismissing cases. You need to go upstairs and ask if that shit's okay. So I went upstairs and asked my supervisor. He talked so bad to me, man. He basically called me a bitch for wanting to dismiss this guy's case.
Wow.
And I'm looking like, bitch. Like, at the time, I'm thinking like, bro, you short, little, fat, white dude. Like, you calling me a bitch. And I'm just like, damn, it's my first day. I can't go bad on him like I want to.
Yeah.
But at that point, I just kind of checked out. I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm just going to collect my check. still learn on the way, right? Because I mean, you learning skills on how to be a lawyer. But as the months passed, the guy that I came to work for, he got voted out of office like 4 months after I got hired. Like 2 months after he got voted out of office, it was one Saturday night. I got pulled over by the police. It was an officer that I had trained on how to testify. Because when you're a young prosecutor, you got to train the officer how to testify and shit. Wow. So I trained him how to testify. He pulled me over. I was in a loaner car. It was a white Lexus. Out on this motherfucking fur vest.
Why you was wearing the fur vest?
I don't know.
He was like nah.
You can hate me.
Yeah, out on this fur vest. I remember the cop pulled up on me. He was talking to me. He was like, man, I just need you to get out the car. I was like, why? And as soon as I said why, that nigga yanked me the fuck out.
And you trained him.
Well, this was the other guy. The guy that I trained was his assistant officer. He pulled me out. And I'm like, hold on, dog. Wait a minute. You know, I'm just trying to get him to calm down because at the time, shit, this was right after Trayvon Martin, but this was before all the other shit. But I was seeing people get fucked up by the police. I was like, bro, you just need to chill because, you know, we work on the same side of the fence. He was like, man, you trying to use your position to get out of this shit? I was like, nah, I'm just trying to let you know that you fucking up. Like, not only are you arresting the wrong person, but you're also violating protocol.
Straight up.
So I just started laying into him, and then he realized, like, oh, shit.
You know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. You know, they throw me in the back. Next day, though, this shit hit the news. I made every news cycle for, like, 4 straight days. You know, my face is plastered. I remember I get out of jail. That night, I had a journalist in Dallas read off my fucking resume. Like, all right, you know, this DA, you know, was out here doing X, Y, and Z, and he cussed out the police. Oh, I cussed him out bad. He cussed out the police, and he threw his entire career away. And they listed all of my achievements. You know, University of Oxford, SMU, Morehouse, blah, blah, blah. All this shit was great, but he threw it away. And at that point, I was like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I blew it. I had my opportunity to at least build my career. But that put a scarlet letter on my chest. I didn't think that yet because I felt like I was still good because I had just got through, you know, getting through the grieving process of losing my brother. And when you lose somebody close to you like that, you feel like you can go through anything. You dig what I'm saying? It's like, shit, I lost the motherfucker that I knew loved me. So, yeah, I ain't got to love me anymore. I know I'll be straight. You dig what I'm saying? But once I realized I wasn't, and this is when I realized I wasn't straight. So 2 weeks after I got arrested and the shit hit the news,
What'd you get arrested for?
DWI. DWI. And I actually beat that case too. And I told them I would, but the motherfuckers didn't listen to me at the time. And both those officers got fired because of that shit.
Good.
They work in high school games now.
Shit. Hopefully they security guards for goddamn.
That's the type of pettiness I like. Said, hopefully.
Yeah, straight up.
Chaos!
But, you know, 2 weeks after that shit happened, my boy was working for CAA out in LA, which at the time was the largest talent agency in the world. And Rock Nation had just merged with CAA, Rock Nation Sports. He was like, man, you know, I think you would be good with Rock Nation, dog. Like, so he set up a couple interviews for me and I killed them hoes. Like that. And they was like, man, we want you to, I interviewed on a Friday. It was a phone interview. It was before Zoom. I killed that shit. She was like, we want you to move to New York on Monday. Remember, me and my mama was looking at cribs, nigga, in New York. And Monday morning, I got this boilerplate email saying, thank you for interviewing, but at this time, we're not hiring. And I'm like, what? Because my boy called me after my interview just like stoked, like, oh shit, like I don't know what you told them, but shit, they was eating that shit up. But they changed 2 days later. So he called me that Monday after I got that email, and he was like, man, shit, they had an intern, Google you, and they saw what they found your shit on the internet, and they was like, yeah, we can't hire this dude.
Wow.
And at that time, I realized, like, damn, I'm toxic. And that started a whole nother grieving process, bro, because not only and that was almost a year to the date after my brother passed.
Bro, this is crazy.
So my brother passed 1 year. The year after, nigga, my career died. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm all 26. I'm early in my career. It's like it's not like I'm Kanye and I can fuck up and I got billions to sit on and be insulated from the bullshit.
He don't even got that.
Not no more. He got a million.
He got
something.
Yeah,
I ain't even have money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very, man, your
Ain't no
story
way
is
Kanye
very
gonna be
relatable
street.
because literally after that shit happened with me with the cops and they whooped my ass, I had a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And I had a job lined up in Dallas that would have me closer to my son. And I had the job. I passed the test. My interview process was great. I'm thinking they about to send me an offer that was gonna start off at like 80,000 and just coming out of college. I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to be good. They reneged it at the last minute because of my background.
And that's the bullshit with the criminal justice system, man, and dealing with people that shouldn't be the arbiters of who, you know, gets to arrest you or not. They can not only kill you or injure you, but they can fuck up your entire earning potential.
Straight up.
Yep.
Wow.
It's based off they bullshit. So,
They word.
you know, I'm not able to get, you know, the job that I had lined up with Rock Nation, that was fuck, you know, law firms wouldn't touch me. I'm grieving again, trying to figure out like, goddamn. And, you know, after a while, I'll give you the long short of it, or the short of the long. After a while of just trying to figure out what I was doing with my life, I started getting calls from people in my community like, man, I saw what happened to you, and can you help me out? Because I feel like, you know, I trust you. You experienced the same thing that we experienced. And, you know, after a while, like, you know, you start representing folks, and you start doing good work, and they start hearing about it, and then they realize you're authentic. You start getting more calls. You dig what I'm saying? And that's really how I built my career as a civil rights attorney.
Man, that's what's up.
I didn't choose this path.
That's what I was.
The people
that's
held
what I
you
wanted to
down.
know. Yeah. So
The people held you down.
Yeah, the people
looked out
held,
for you.
the people held me down, but I was also true to my community. It's like you can go through some shit and just try to hide from it, and try to act like it never happened, and try to distance yourself from it, or you can just embrace it. And I embraced that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that helped me with my grieving process. Helping my people help me grieve in a healthy way. You dig what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that's really the testament. I guess if you want to say I'm successful at it, that's the testament to my success, is just being honest and authentic. And also being good at what I do. Like I was telling you at the gym, like I actually go in the fucking court.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't, I mean, I do press
I asked
conferences,
him a very
I do interviews and shit.
I asked him a very specific question about. I know we're not gonna throw names, but a very specific question about a very specific person, and he explained how being in court and being actually on the street is like how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, you know,
it ain't and how you make moves and how you. Yeah,
this shit ain't no beauty. It ain't no beauty contest, man. This shit ain't no glamour project. This shit is, it's a skull crushing, fucking blood pulsating war out here. You know what I'm saying? You need motherfuckers that know how to be in the trenches. And I was thrown in there.
And he worked with the best of them.
Motherfuckers thought I was
ain't gonna say no
roadkill.
names.
My 30th birthday, man, and I used to go to this bar. It was like a high-end bar near SMU. I used to go to that bitch like almost every day because I was trying to like meet the players in Highland Park, right? So I can get a gig. And so just to give you an example, Jerry Jones would be at this bar a lot.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I remember I went there.
All right, elitist.
But
I worked for y'all know.
I know.
I'm just painting the picture.
Yeah.
I went there for my 30th birthday, and the bartender that I was cool with, it was an older cat. He was like, man, like, yeah, you making 30 is huge. Like, motherfuckers thought you was like done.
Wow.
Like, and I was like, what you mean? Like, just trying to press like how done they thought I was. And he was like, man, like, you know, people thought like if you would have, you know, called your own number, nobody would have second guessed the reason why you did it. It's like, damn, I thought I was suicidal. I had never even considered the notion. You dig what I'm saying? But the fact that people thought that I would be that, it also made me realize, like, damn, I'm a lot stronger than what I thought I was. You dig what I'm saying?
Because you had a lot going on, and then from there, let's kind of talk about some of the projects you've spawned. You mentioned them at the beginning, but what made you start building communities? Because people often will collect the paycheck, you know. But what made you say it's got to be bigger than just me building resources for myself?
Because I saw how the community responded to me being downtrodden. Dig what I'm saying? And if I didn't have a strong community, you know, even though it was very segmented and small, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And I feel like that needs to be scaled for a lot of folks. Because like you said, you had your experiences. You were able to, you know, navigate that shit and, you know, get to a point to where you feel comfortable now, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But a lot of brothers don't have that ability to do that shit. A lot of brothers don't have that community. Well, how many brothers y'all got? 4?
We got 4.
It's 4 of us.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest.
Both your parents are still together?
Yes.
Yeah.
You met my parents.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
our oldest got a different dad. Our second oldest got a different mom, and then us two got the same
Right.
parents.
But
we
we-
There's
together.
a village.
But
Yes.
they what he just said, but that's their parents too. Like,
Yeah.
your family.
But to that end, I mean, everybody didn't have that village, bro.
Right.
But that shouldn't be the reason why people can't succeed, although it is.
Yeah.
But it's incumbent upon people like us that have the ability to create community to make sure these folks that don't have the traditional community, they have something in place to where if they do have a hiccup or they have some issue that, you know, that's outside of their control, or even if they just fuck up intentionally, but they want to change their life back around, they have something in place to ensure that they can be successful and have a life that's worth living. We want to make sure our people can live. You dig what I'm saying?
With dignity.
With dignity.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And not be saddled by, you know, their experiences or the bad mistakes they made in the past, because your experiences nor your mistakes define who you are in the present. You define who you are in the present.
Straight up. A lot of us shy away from the or the criminal justice system. You know, we're more fearful. It sounds like you would say people should lean in and know your law, know what's the rules are, what the rights are that you actually have, because that's going to benefit you more in the long run. Most of us, we try to get away from any of that. But in reality, we can be policymakers ourselves. We can be community activists. But for whatever reason, everyone can't take up that mantra. So how would you recommend to people maybe getting their foot in the door of helping a community or helping people that find themselves in bad situations?
Well, let me acknowledge the aspect of people being, you know, kind of off-put by getting engaged with the criminal justice system or politics or policy making. I mean, we live in a representative democracy. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say something about Troy Nels, but I won't. Because that's my rep. I ain't gonna say
Who the fuck is that?
You should know your rep. Like
Oh yeah, brother. I don't know none of that shit.
But the point is I mean, you may think this shit doesn't work for you, but it definitely can work against you.
Straight up. Straight up.
You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to at least get engaged at some level to ensure that the motherfuckers that are in place that dictate how we interact with our community and our society ain't actively working against it.
Have you ever met? Oh my bad, you ain't talking.
No, I was gonna say, you know, growing up in the hood, people are scared to become what you are. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna become that because they against us. You know what I'm saying? So for you to do that, that's encouraging in the things that you're saying. But as I sit here and listen, I'm like, damn, they really in the hood. It's really like, don't be a police officer, which is a great career. Don't be a lawyer because you like snitching, you're telling, or you're trying to get our people to tell on each other. And it's like, it's the dumbest shit ever. But it's like, it's really like that.
Yeah.
Every day. Don't be that.
Your partner goes to our gym. He's a police officer. TJ
yeah.
Rowe.
Uh-huh.
I mentioned you. He's like, yeah, I know Phil.
Yeah.
But he patrols Uptown and Third Ward. And he mentioned, like, yeah. So he went to Yates, all that.
Yeah,
like,
man.
So that shit is.
Yeah, no, you know,
Shit is cool. It's cool to me when you come from the hood doing shit he do and
no
being a
cap. I
police
mean,
officer. That
I
shit
ain't
cool
gonna
to
lie.
me.
I'm not considered pro police at all.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I have some police officer friends that I respect, but I don't respect the institution of police.
Gotcha.
So I can understand. I can understand why someone would be
But
fired.
it goes a long way when you in a situation and you got one of us. He can pull over.
Wait, what about the Tyree Nichols situation?
No.
Memphis?
That's
Going
a
with
fact,
what
though.
you just said though. Our
But I
dad
need
was
a
a cop.
TJ. I need a TJ in that group to like give me some grace. You know what
Our
I'm saying?
dad
Like, we
was a
need-
cop.
But TJ could be fucked up. You dig what I'm saying?
But I know he's not fucked up. Is what I'm telling him. That's what I feel what you're saying, but I'm just saying.
I am not-
It's good to
Just
sprinkle in.
anti.
because an officer is black doesn't mean he's a good officer.
Exactly.
not
No,
at all.
I
No,
feel
for
you.
sure.
I feel you.
just saw that shit.
I've been fucked over
What
by
we was
black
talking
cops.
about. What we was talking about. Our dad is a cop. So
He was a cop 27
Well, he
years.
was. He's retired now.
He also was a man of the cloth too, so he walked by faith,
Exactly,
moral code.
But what also kind of helped in the eye aspect, he never worked like the streets. He just worked in the high schools. So they had him just in the high schools.
Over into the streets, but he was always fair.
And he worked at one of the worst high schools in Texas.
I was a big motherfucker though, so ain't nobody gonna try that.
I mean, exactly.
But he was a type of guy. He had programs within the schools.
Yeah.
He would bring these troubled guys home to us, and we would go and hang out with these guys. These would be, like you said, intellect is not, you know, whatever you said, schoolwork and all that. Like intellect is deeper than, you know what I'm saying?
More broader and holistic.
Right. So he would bring these guys and like, we would hang out and shit. Like he would just shed a extra light on these troubled kids, and he would, you know what I'm saying?
Case in point, he brought one dude, and ironically, he was white. And
well, no lie, be ironic.
Nah, because I've been saying all the white shit, but he brought him. And what he used to do was he used to have them come with us, and we'll sell T-shirts of the designs of his poems that he made.
Oh yeah,
and
shit you got
and we would.
I was about to wear that shit today.
And we would go out and sell them. I remember we was on the highway. My pops had a van. We on the highway. The dude opened up the door to spit. While he was on the highway.
Spit like to rap or to spit?
To spit.
Okay.
I almost fall out.
Yeah.
I almost fall out. And my pops was like, what are you doing? He was like, I couldn't get the window up. I had to spit. Like I almost fall out the car. To this day, like I don't get in no cars or move around in no cars if the door not locked.
Yeah.
That shit traumatized me. Like I literally almost fell out that motherfucker. But the reason I'm saying that, the reason I'm saying all that is to say, like my pops didn't have to bring home like these kids. Like these kids was like really messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's an example right in there. Why the hell would you open up a door to a moving vehicle moving at 70 miles per hour? But at the end of the day, he did, and he put money in their pocket, and he gave them a sense of purpose. And like with that, you don't get that from every cop. But you know, he was doing his duty, and he was doing it.
That was community based.
No cameras. He should throw citywide basketball tournaments, bro. Like no cameras. It wasn't since social media. We didn't even think to put that shit on video.
No, he was telling me about celebrating Black History from now up until Juneteenth. Like,
bro, we've been on that. The shit I do, the men's lift, where you came on men's lift yesterday, I get all that shit from my pops and my mom.
I almost fucked my back up doing the deadlift.
It's they pops, and then Gandhi.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Barack Obama.
He on all that shit.
I put him above Barack Obama.
Whatever he
ain't never smoked no cig.
Yeah, but I want to go one more thing before we go on to Patreon. So you talked about our culture and how we can just be more involved and like just kind of just be conscious of the legal field. Can you talk about a little bit of this shit with, you know, you got the Atlanta situation with Young Thug and Gunna and all that snitching shit and all that culture? And can you tie in the legal sense and the culture sense and how it can be misconstrued? Did I say that right?
I can't,
you did.
Okay. I can't speak affirmatively on the Young Thug Gunna situation because I haven't seen what they call the paperwork.
The case files.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would hate to call somebody a snitch without seeing the paperwork.
No, you can call that guy, they name Woody. Whatever his name is.
They got a 4-minute video of him.
Yeah, that nigga was snitching his ass.
Well, I haven't seen that video. So
he said, if you can get me out by 11 or 12 o'clock.
I'll be on FaceTime.
I'll be on FaceTime.
I mean, if it is as you say it was, that's pretty fucking egregious. But
4 minutes.
I think you know, dealing with certain high profile clients that have been involved in conspiracies or RICOs, you know, let me kind of walk a fine line. I mean, I feel like,
and we're gonna do a Patreon where you won't have to as much.
Right.
If you got 15 more minutes after this, give us 15 more in a weekend.
Oh, you want to hop in the Patreon right now?
We can.